just find something out, bro. There's another guy in the picture, bro. I got the meanest headache, bro. Like, oh my.
No disrespect to YB, but that bitch must be absolutely out of her fucking mind. She might be the most retarded person ever. No disrespect to YB. YB's got like 15 baby mom.
Cenat once stood in a sold-out arena, surrounded by thousands of screaming fans, tears running down his face as NBA YoungBoy performed on stage. In that moment, he wasn't flexing fame, money, or status. He wasn't chasing clout. He was a genuine fan, overwhelmed by the realization that he had made it far enough in life to witness his idol in person. That clip went viral because it felt real, raw, human. But what if I told you those tears would later come back to haunt him? Just months after that emotional night, Cenat would go live with a completely different energy. No jokes, no yelling, just silence, pain, and a sentence that froze the internet. There's another guy in the picture. And when fans started connecting the dots, the name that kept surfacing wasn't random. It wasn't a nobody. It was the same artist Kai once cried for, NBA YoungBoy. What followed wasn't just another breakup story. It became a conversation about power, betrayal, silence, and how fame doesn't protect you from heartbreak. Some believe this was a coincidence. Others believe it was calculated. But one thing is undeniable. That moment at the concert and what happened afterward created one of the coldest ironies the internet has ever seen. And once you hear the full story, you might never look at celebrity relationships the same way again. Cenat's story has always felt different from other internet stars. He didn't come up pretending to be perfect or untouchable. He came up loud, emotional, messy, and unapologetically himself. That's why people connected with him. Watching Kai felt like watching a friend win. Every milestone he hit felt shared. Every laugh felt genuine. And when he finally reached a level of fame most people only dream about, fans believed he deserved every bit of it. With that success came a lifestyle shift. Bigger houses, private jets, exclusive events, and access to people most creators never even see. But the biggest change wasn't money or fame. It was trust. Because once you reach a certain level, everyone around you isn't there for the same reasons anymore. Some people see friendship, others see opportunity. When Kai went public with his relationship, the internet reacted instantly. Not with hate, but with curiosity. People wanted to know who had Kai's heart. Who was the woman standing next to one of the biggest streamers on the planet? At first glance, everything looked like a fairy tale. Luxury trips, designer bags, smiling romantic moments clipped and reposted across social media. Interview outside world. It looked perfect. But perfection on the internet often hides discomfort in real life. Small moments began to raise eyebrows. Nothing explosive, nothing headline-worthy, just little things that didn't sit right. One of the biggest moments came during a stream when Kai's girlfriend casually described her dream man. She spoke freely, confidently, without hesitation. She wanted someone tall, light-skinned with waves, a nice body, an artist who made music. The chat froze because the man sitting next to her was none of those things. Kai laughed it off. He always does. Humor has always been his defense mechanism, but viewers didn't forget. Clips circulated. Comments piled up. People asked
I know it seems like a lot, but you're Santa Claus and you get people's stuff. Like, come on. Okay, so this is my #1 gift. Description, as you can see, G-Wagon, black, pink interior. It's very detailed. I just feel like, for safety reasons, I did want a pink outside, but for safety reasons, I just feel like maybe it should be pink in the inside, so I still get that pink vibe, and then just do black on the outside and black out the windows, tint it up, like that, so can't nobody know or tell that it's me. The bowl without the car. How much the car?
Yeah.
Not that much.
How much?
Not that much. I don't know. I don't know. It's not that much though. I promise. It's not that much.
Asked the same question over and over again. If that's your dream man, why are you with Kai? At the time, most fans brushed it aside. Relationships aren't perfect. People say dumb things on stream. But in hindsight, that moment feels less like a joke and more like a confession that slipped out too early. Then came the Christmas list. What should have been a private exchange between two people turned into a public spectacle. This wasn't a simple wish. It was detailed, calculated, almost like a business proposal. A pink G-Wagon with a black exterior, pink interior, tinted windows, and a bow on top. Estimated cost around $170,000 to $200,000. And that was just the first item, Birkin bags, including a rare pink crocodile Birkin that could range anywhere from $50,000 to over $300,000. A luxury watch worth nearly $90,000. Upgraded diamond earrings because the ones she already had weren't big enough anymore. Designer bags, wallets, and even Sephora gift cards in the thousands. When Kai asked how much the car cost, the response shocked people. Not that much. It's not a lot. A lot. That sentence alone changed how many fans viewed the relationship. This wasn't about love. This was about expectations. At the same time, Kai was opening up about something far more serious, his mental health. He talked openly about self-doubt, fear, and feeling lost despite success. He admitted he had been struggling for months. He spoke about pressure, about wanting to do more, about not
her dog to go run behind Kai, leaving him in the house for 12 to 15 hours a day, pissing and shitting all in my $1 million house. I did snap out on her. She has no respect, no regard for what I'm going through. Oh, you gonna do what you did last time, just move in with a man. Cool, got it. Not mad. But for you to sit there and be like, yeah, you asked me to live with you, I told you no. You are so hurtful. And when he was cheating or caught cheating, I took up for y'all. I took up for you. I stood by you. I said, Gabrielle, it's cool.
about not feeling fulfilled even while breaking records. Those moments weren't clipped for laughs. They were heavy, honest, vulnerable, and that's where the disconnect became impossible to ignore. While Kai was speaking about fear and emotional weight, his girlfriend was posting content about shopping, traveling, and how blessed and free she felt. She talked about living exactly the life she dreamed of as a child. While one partner was drowning internally, the other was celebrating externally. That imbalance is dangerous. Relationships don't usually collapse because of one betrayal. They collapse because of misalignment that goes unaddressed for too long. One person giving emotionally while the other focuses on material gain. One person seeking connection while the other seeks upgrades. The cracks widened when Kai started looking visibly drained on stream. The jokes felt forced. The energy dipped. Fans noticed. And then came the moment that changed everything. Kai went live and said the words no one expected. There's another guy in the picture. He didn't name names. He didn't accuse anyone directly. He didn't raise his voice. His tone was calm, almost numb. And that's what made it terrifying. When someone as expressive as Kai goes quiet, it means the pain is deep. The internet exploded. Speculation ran wild. People began digging through old clips, tweets, and comments. And almost immediately, one name started appearing again and again. NBA YoungBoy. At first, it sounded insane, too dramatic, too coincidental. But then people remembered the concert. The viral clip of Kai crying tears of joy at an NBA YoungBoy show. A moment that once symbolized admiration suddenly felt haunting. Fans started asking uncomfortable questions. Why that artist? Why those old tweets resurfacing now? Why did Kai's girlfriend previously post comments calling YoungBoy Bae years before she even knew Kai? Interviewed, nothing was confirmed. Nothing was proven. But the narrative had already taken shape. Then Kai confirmed he was single. The timing raised even more questions. Right after Christmas. Right after the expensive wish list. Right after months of emotional tension. To many people, it felt like the benefits came first and the breakup came after. His ex responded publicly, denying cheating and accusing Kai of playing a sympathy role. That response shifted public opinion in a powerful way, not because people automatically believed the rumors, but because dismissing someone's mental health pain felt cruel, especially when Kai had been open about struggling long before the breakup. But the story was far from over. Because, as the internet continued digging, as rumors spread across platforms, and as Kai stayed mostly silent, something happened that took this situation from messy breakup to full-blown scandal. A single tweet from the one man everyone was already talking about in that moment would change how this story was viewed forever. What happened after that emotional moment shocked everyone who thought this story was just about a fan crying over his favorite rapper. Because the moment Cenat's tears hit the internet, things started moving behind the scenes in ways nobody expected. At first, people assumed it was just another viral clip. A streamer gets emotional, the internet reacts, memes are made, and the cycle moves on. But this time, the energy felt different. Something about Kai's reaction made people stop joking and start paying attention. Within hours, the clip spread far beyond Kai's usual audience. Hip-hop blogs picked it up. Fan pages reposted it with captions asking why this moment felt so heavy. Even people who didn't regularly follow Cenat or NBA YoungBoy found themselves watching the clip twice, trying to understand what made it so powerful. It wasn't just the crying. It was the way Kai tried to speak, paused, wiped his face, and then went silent. That silence said more than any words could. As the clip kept circulating, fans began connecting dots. They remembered Kai talking in the past about how YoungBoy's music helped him during his lowest moments. Long nights, pressure, criticism, fame hitting too fast. YoungBoy's raw pain felt relatable. For Kai, this wasn't celebrity worship. It was emotional survival. And when people realized that, the narrative changed completely. At the same time, NBA YoungBoy's situation was already tense. Legal issues, limited public appearances.
This is how I wanted to live. Like exactly how I'm living, exactly where I'm placed, exactly where I am in life. Like this is where I want it to be. And me knowing that and really seeing it in real time, I don't take that lightly at all. Like I do not take that lightly. And what I truly do understand is how blessed I am.
And constant controversy had kept him away from the spotlight in a traditional sense. He wasn't doing interviews. He wasn't explaining himself. He was silent, and that silence made Kai's emotional breakdown hit even harder. It felt like someone crying out for an artist who couldn't respond, but then something unexpected happened. Fans noticed subtle activity online. Pages close to YoungBoy began engaging with the clip, not directly commenting, just liking, reposting, acknowledging. It was small, but in YoungBoy's world, small moves mean a lot. Suddenly, people started asking a bigger question. Did NBA YoungBoy see this? That question alone shifted the entire atmosphere. Cenat went live again shortly after. Joking as much, he wasn't chasing laughs. Viewers could tell he was still emotionally affected. When chat started spamming YoungBoy's name, Kai didn't brush it off like usual. He paused, took a breath, and said something that made everyone lean closer to their screens. He admitted that
days ago, I spread awareness on mental health and how important it is to take care of yourself. And honestly, for the past few months, I've been struggling with mental health out of self-doubt and fright of pursuing goals that I really want to achieve. And the reason I've really been in my head is because I just wanted to do more. I've gained to realize that I'm a true creator and I'm very passionate about creating. And I have other goals and things that I just want to achieve and do more of. And I would love to show you guys what I've been working on for the past few months through my more personal page, which is KC3.
that he didn't expect that moment to go viral. He said he didn't plan it. He said it just came out. That honesty made people respect him even more. Then came the speculation. People started wondering if this moment would change how NBA YoungBoy viewed Kai. Would he reach out? Would he acknowledge him? Or would the industry once again let a real emotional moment fade away without closure? The internet split into sides. Some believed this was just another emotional clip. Others believed this was the beginning of something bigger. Thought what made it more intense was how quiet everything became afterward. No response from YoungBoy. No comment. No public acknowledgement. That silence.
I just find something out, bro. There's another guy in the picture, bro. I got the meanest headache, bro. Like,
Silence created pressure. Fans started tagging YoungBoy everywhere. They flooded comment sections. They reposted the clip with captions begging him to see it. The energy turned emotional, almost desperate. It wasn't just about Kai anymore. It was about the connection between artists and the people they unknowingly save. Behind the scenes, Kai was reportedly being advised to be careful. The industry doesn't always respond kindly to raw emotion. Vulnerability can be twisted. Moments can be misinterpreted. But Kai didn't walk anything back. He didn't delete the clip. He didn't apologize for crying. And that decision alone made a statement. Then, something subtle but powerful happened. A track by NBA YoungBoy started trending again, one that fans directly connected to Kai's emotional breakdown. Lyrics about isolation, misunderstanding, and pain resurfaced across TikTok and Twitter. Fans claimed it felt like a response, even if it wasn't intentional. The timing felt too perfect. Whether coincidence or not, the internet treated it like a message. Kai reacted to that song live. And this time, he didn't cry. Instead, he sat there quietly, nodding his head, eyes focused, absorbing every word. That moment felt like growth, like acceptance, like understanding that sometimes closure doesn't come in the form we expect. Sometimes, the music itself is the response, but the story didn't end there. Rumors began to swirl that people close to YoungBoy had reached out privately. Nothing confirmed, nothing public, just whispers. And in this industry, whispers can be louder than headlines. Fans began preparing themselves for something unexpected, a shout-out, a message, maybe even a collaboration one day. What made this moment powerful wasn't just the possibility of connection. It was the reminder that even at the top, people are still human. Streamers cry, rappers struggle. Fame doesn't erase pain, it just hides it better. By the end of this phase, one thing was clear. Cenat's tears weren't weakness. They were a mirror, and millions of people saw themselves reflected in that moment. And just when everyone thought the emotional peak had passed, something happened that changed the entire narrative again. The moment people thought they understood the situation, the internet flipped the script again. What started as a raw emotional reaction slowly turned into something much bigger, a cultural moment that exposed how deeply music connects people who may never meet face to face. Cenat wasn't just trending anymore. He had become the center of a conversation about pain, loyalty, and the unspoken bond between artists and fans. As days passed, The clip didn't die down like most viral moments do. Instead, it aged differently. New audiences discovered it without context and felt the emotion before even knowing the story. That's when people realized this wasn't about NBA YoungBoy alone. It was about what he represents to a generation that grew up feeling unheard, misunderstood, and constantly judged. Kai began addressing this shift during his streams. Not directly, but subtly. He talked about pressure, about how being online all the time doesn't mean you're okay all the time, about how people assume streamers are always winning just because they're smiling on camera. These weren't speeches, they were quiet admissions slipped between jokes, but the audience caught them. Meanwhile, NBA YoungBoy's name continued to sit at the center of the storm. His fans defended him fiercely, reminding everyone that YoungBoy has always expressed himself best through music, not interviews or social media posts. Others argued that silence can sometimes feel louder than words. The debate wasn't angry, it was emotional. People weren't fighting, they were feeling. Then came the unexpected twist. A close associate of Senat hinted during a casual conversation that Kai had received something privately. No details, no screenshots, just a sentence that set the internet on fire. Suddenly, speculation exploded. Was it a message? A voice note? A sign of acknowledgement? Fans dissected every second of Kai's next stream, looking for clues. Kai didn't confirm anything, but he didn't deny it either. What people noticed was his energy. He seemed calmer, more grounded, like someone who had found peace without needing public validation. That change alone told a story. Sometimes, closure doesn't need to be announced. Sometimes, it's felt at the same time. The industry started reacting. Other artists spoke indirectly about how emotional honesty should be protected, not mocked. Streamers shared their own moments of vulnerability. Fans posted stories about how YoungBoy's music helped them survive dark periods. The conversation expanded beyond Kai and YoungBoy. It became collective healing. But not everyone was supportive. There were critics who tried to spin the narrative. Some accused Kai of clout chasing. Others claimed the moment was exaggerated. That's when the internet drew a clear line. The majority pushed back hard. People weren't defending a celebrity, they were defending the right to feel. And that response said everything about how powerful the original moment had been. Then, something subtle yet symbolic happened again. NBA YoungBoy released new music, no direct references, no names mentioned. But fans swore the timing was intentional. Certain lyrics stood out, lines about being misunderstood, about people feeling your pain, even when you never speak it aloud. The internet didn't treat it like coincidence. They treated it like communication through art. Kai listened. And this time, he spoke afterward. He didn't say much, just that music hits different when you know the artist is human too. That one sentence echoed everywhere. It felt like the final puzzle piece. Not confirmation, not denial, just mutual understanding. What made part 3 of this story so powerful is that nothing big happened on the surface, yet everything changed underneath. No public reunion, no dramatic headline, just emotional evolution, growth, acceptance. Fans began shifting their language. Instead of asking, "Will YoungBoy respond?" they started saying, "I hope they're both okay." That shift alone marked maturity. The story stopped being about outcomes and started being about impact. And the impact was undeniable. Kai Cenat proved that vulnerability doesn't weaken influence, it deepens it. NBA YoungBoy proved that silence doesn't mean absence. Sometimes it means expression in a different form. Together, without even speaking directly, they reminded millions that pain doesn't always need translation. But the story still wasn't finished. Because one final moment, small, almost invisible to casual viewers, quietly set the stage for what would come next. A moment that would make people look back and realize that everything leading up to this point was preparation. And that final chapter was where everything came full circle. By the time people realized how deeply this moment had settled into the culture, it was already too late to dismiss it as just another viral clip. The story of Cenat crying for NBA YoungBoy had quietly transformed into something timeless, a reminder that even in a world obsessed with numbers, views, and virality, raw human emotion still has power. The final shift didn't come from a headline or a trending topic. It came from something far quieter. During a later stream, Kai was asked casually, almost carelessly, if he still listened to NBA YoungBoy as much as before. The chat expected a joke, a quick answer, maybe a laugh. Instead, Kai paused. Not for long, but long enough for the room to change. And then he said something simple that hit harder than anything else in this entire story. He said, "Some artists don't just make music, they make memories. They attach themselves to moments in your life. And even when life changes, those songs stay connected to who you were when you needed them most." That was it. No drama, no tears, no explanation needed. That in that moment, it became clear that Kai wasn't waiting for validation anymore. He wasn't waiting for a response. He had already received what mattered, emotional closure. And ironically, that made the entire situation feel complete, even without a public interaction. Meanwhile, NBA YoungBoy continued doing what he has always done best, letting the music speak. Fans stopped demanding statements. They stopped forcing connections. Instead, they listened more closely. Lyrics that once felt aggressive now felt protective. Lines that sounded cold now felt defensive. People weren't just hearing the music, they were understanding it. That's when the bigger realization hit. This wasn't a story about a streamer and a rapper. It was a story about a generation that learned how to survive through sound. About young men who were never taught how to express pain, finding release in lyrics written by someone just as broken. About emotions that had nowhere to go, finally being allowed to exist publicly.